4 horseheads proclaimed the 4 Ryswells of the Rills, 1 grey, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 brown. The jape was the Ryswells could not even agree upon the colour of their arms. The thoughts of Theon Greyjoy on House Ryswell. A Dance with Dragons, Chapter 32. Reek 3. House Ryswell of the Rills is a smaller noble family of the north, but still one of the most prominent houses sworn to House Stark of Winterfell, the former kings in the north and current wardens of the north, under the Iron Throne at the start of A Game of Thrones. The Ryswells rule the Rills, the extensive area between the Barrowlands and Stony Shore and Blazewater Bay. The Rills itself is likely home to countless small streams and brooks, making the area quite muddy, with lots of standing groundwater. This likely has caused the coastline around the Rills to drop off quite sharply with small cliffs. While this makes accessing the Stony Shore and Blazewater Bay more challenging by land, this landscape possibly makes it harder for the raiders from the Iron Islands to land their longships in the Rills. Given the proximity to Barrowton, House Ryswell historically has had a close relationship with House Dustin. The blazon of House Ryswell is a black horse's head, eyes and mane red, on bronze with a black engrailed border. Lord Rodrik Ryswell is the current Lord of the Rills and has 2 living quarrelsome sons, with each personalising their arms with a different colour horse's head. While personal heraldry is commonplace in Westeros, having so many in a single generation who refuse the traditional banner does stand out. It seems that House Ryswell were not the original rulers of the Rills, but the circumstances of this era are very vague at best. We know that House Ryder were first main kings who ruled the Rills for generations and were rivals of the old Barrow kings. They eventually submitted to House Stark, the kings of Winterfell, but how this happened is not known. How House Ryswell came to power is also not clear, but we can make an educated guess from the limited information we do have access to. The records kept in the libraries of Winterfell say a King Theon Stark once put down a rebellion in the Rills during his reign. It's likely House Ryder became extinct as a consequence of their role in this uprising. Some have also put forward that the Ryswells, given the similar spelling and structure of their name, may have been a cadet branch of House Ryder, hence why they could have been granted the lordship of the Rills by King Theon. Some historical sources dating back centuries prior to Aegon's conquest recount when 79 deserters fled the Night's Watch. One of them was the youngest son of the then Lord Ryswell. Seeking refuge, the young man returned to his father's keep, thinking his lordly family would keep him safe. But Lord Ryswell sent his son and the other deserters with him back to the Night Fort, where they were buried alive in ice to serve eternally the watch they had so willingly forsaken. In his old age, the same Lord Ryswell himself took the black, choosing to end his days on the wall, standing vigil behind his son. Sometime around 200 AC, there was also a Robin Ryswell, who married a Lord Jonel Stark, whom had recently lost his first wife, a Sansa Stark. It seems that the marriage between Robin and Jonel was also childless. Thus he was succeeded by his brother, Barthagan Stark, as Lord of Winterfell. My father had great ambition for House Ryswell. Barbrey Dustin, formerly Ryswell, to Theon Greyjoy. A Dance with Dragons, Chapter 32, Reek 3. The current Lord of the Rills is a Lord Rodrik Ryswell. He's been described as a very ambitious man, who takes pride in breeding fine horses. He has 2 daughters, Bethany and Barbrey, and 3 sons, Roger, Roose, and Rickard. Interestingly, 2 of his sons are seemingly named after 2 of the most powerful men in the north, his liege Lord Rickard Stark and Lord Roose Bolton. However, it's hard to tell whether this is an intentional tribute or coincidence. Bethany Ryswell was the second wife of Roose Bolton, Lord of the Dreadfort. During their marriage, she gave him 1 son, they called Domeric. During his youth, Domeric served as a page at Barrowton with his aunt, Bethany's sister, Lady Barbrey Dustin. Bethany would die of a fever at an unknown date, with Domeric also dying in 297 AC. Allegedly, poisoned by his bastard half-brother Ramsay Snow. Brandon Stark, the eldest son of Rickard Stark, Lord of Winterfell and Warden of the North, was fostered at Barrowton with House Dustin. However, Brandon spent much of his time riding through the Rills, and Lord Ryswell enjoyed hosting the heir to Winterfell during his visits. Ambitious, Rodrik hoped to wed his younger daughter Barbrey to Brandon, and Barbrey eventually gave her maidenhead to him. However, despite this, Lord Rickard Stark did not wish for his heir to marry the daughter of one of his own bannermen, and instead betrothed Brandon to Catelyn Tully, the eldest daughter of Lord Hoster Tully, Lord of Riverrun, and Lord Paramount of the Trident. As consolation, Rodrik later hoped, unsuccessfully, to arrange a match between Barbrey and Rickard's middle son, Eddard Stark, which was again rejected by Rickard. Barbrey instead wed Willem Dustin, the young Lord of Barrowton. Robert's rebellion began after the deaths of Rickard and Brandon in King's Landing, and when Willem marched south with the now Lord Eddard Stark, Barbrey gave him a red stallion, the pride of her father's herd. Willem was later killed in combat at the Tower of Joy. Barbrey resented that Eddard had returned the stallion to the north, but not Lord Dustin's bones. And Lord Wyman is not the only man who lost kin at your red wedding fray. Do not imagine Horsebane loves you any better. If you did not hold the Great John, he would pull out your entrails and make you eat them, as Lady Hornwood ate her fingers. Flints, Serwins, Tallhearts, Slates, they all had men with the young wolf. House Ryswell, too. Even Dustin's out of Barrowton. The North remembers Frey. Barbrey Dustin and Roger Ryswell to Aine's Frey. A Dance with Dragons Chapter 46. A Ghost in Winterfell. House Ryswell did take part in the War of the Five Kings in the wake of the death of King Robert Baratheon and the imprisonment and later execution of Eddard Stark for supposed treason in King's Landing. However, it seems that Lord Rodrik nor his two surviving sons, Roger and Roose, joined the northern host on the march south, but they do appear to at least send their men with the rest of the northern army, as men from House Ryswell are later put under the command of Lord Roose Bolton by King Robb Stark when he splits his forces after crossing the Twins. They take part in the battle at the fords of the Trident, fighting the main forces of House Lannister under the command of Lord Tywin. After the battle, it seems that the surviving Ryswell men are put under the command of Ronald Stout to guard the banks to the Trident from attack from Lannister raiding parties. Meanwhile, at Castle Black, while a large force of wildlings under the command of Mance Rayder, King Beyond the Wall, marches on the wall itself, Maester Aemon Targaryen of the Night's Watch sends letters to all the lords in the north with a plea for help to defend Castle Black from attack. Evidently, Lord Rodrik does not send any aid to the Night's Watch like all the other northern lords. After the War of the Five Kings comes to an end with the death of Robb Stark at the Red Wedding, Roose Bolton is made Warden of the North by the Iron Throne, with House Ryswell bending the knee to their new overlords. When Roose returns north, House Ryswell joins with House Bolton and House Umber in besieging Moat Cailin, the stronghold north of the Neck and key to the north, which is currently under the control of a small force of Ironborn raiders. Many believe that, like House Dustin, whose current head is Lady Barbrey Dustin, formerly Ryswell, that Lord Rodrik ostensibly willingly bent the knee to House Bolton, but some suspect their loyalty is greatly in question given the fate of Rodrik's late grandson, Domeric Bolton, especially after Ramsay Snow is later legitimised as a Bolton and made his father's heir, given that it is widely accepted that Ramsay murdered Domeric. House Ryswell and Dustin later join forces to attack and burn several longships of the Ironborn on the Fever River. Rodrik Ryswell, with his sons, attends the wedding of Ramsay Bolton to the fake Arya Stark at Winterfell, accompanied by his quarrelsome sons and his daughter, Barbrey. During the festivities, Ryswell and Dustin's squires engage in snowball fights within Winterfell. Rickard Ryswell, or possibly his brother Roger, flirts with one of Abel's washerwomen, while Roose Ryswell dispatches scouts in the Wolfswood to search for the army of King Stannis Baratheon, though none of them return. Roger Ryswell is later present with Barbrey Dustin, Lord Roose Bolton and Sir Aenys Frey, when Theon Greyjoy is questioned about a series of deaths within Winterfell, including the killing of one of Roger's men-at-arms. Roger is openly hostile towards House Frey, as several Ryswell men were killed in the Red Wedding.